Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. We've got a great show lined up, but first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center on the corner of 77 and Baldwin. And today's weather, it looks good. We got a chance of rain now. It's coming in about 50%, and it's sort of unsettled during the week, so be aware of that. High today is going to be 88 and low 77. Water temperature is 87.1. We got river readings brought to us by Sandhill Seafood up on Highway 77, just north of Bozeman School. We had there last Thursday, I think we ate there. Really good seafood. Apalachicola Bluntstown 5.4, steady, real steady right there. And the Choctawhatchee at Caryville 4.5, starting to rise today. And with the rain coming and all, it's going to sort of be rising up, and there'll be some good fishing up in the sloughs as that water starts pushing up in those sloughs out of the river into the creeks and all, and coming in there. Those fish, those brim will get up there and feed on those insects and all. It's really a good time, and fly fishing, if you can sort of get some flies up under there, some really good fishing in that situation. Just be aware of that. I haven't done that in a while, but I know that's a fact. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. High today 102 and low at 1023 will be the low. So it's going to be coming in all morning, right around noon. Right after noon it's going to peak out, and then it's going to start going out. And today we've got pretty good tides today, and the rest of the week is pretty weak right there. All right, this marine forecast west-southwest at about 10. Let's take our break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So glad you're with us this morning. I'm going to start off some pictures. Let's start off with an older picture. You know how we love history here on Panhandle Outdoors. This coming out of West Bay. Bill Buchanan posted it with Scotty Sowell, the Sowell family. That's two old families up there, the Sowells and the Buchanans in West Bay. Now, if you're looking north here from Highway 79, that was original original West Bay Bridge. Okay, and this right now, you know, there's a big old bridge going on 79, but this was the original bridge. And actually, Mr. Buck Buchanan, who we interviewed not too long ago, we're going to bring that to you when we ever get it edited, but he was there, Mr. Buchanan was there before that bridge was built. He was there, and he was there. He remembers the canal being dug right there. Now, is that amazing? And we're going to have Mr. Buck Buchanan, 100 years old, up there in Chipley. But I just want to share that with you. A lot of folks don't remember the old West Bay Bridge, okay? And all right, now, Mrs. Paramore, Ken took his wife out fishing, and she caught a huge one. My girl caught a 24-inch today, her first of the year. What a great picture right there. Beautiful water, pretty late, and a nice big red snapper. Good job, Ken. You're a good husband. All right. Nick's Seafood, I'll tell you about this now. That's this weekend, the 8th annual Nick's Kids Catfish Tournament. Gal and I may run over there Saturday afternoon if we get our stuff done on Thursday, but it's going to be 12 and under. And of course, we're going to talk about the one coming up in Sea Quarters. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, but today let's talk about Nick's. And here's the, well, okay, I just showed you. It's over in Freeport at Nick's restaurant, but you can touch base with them over there. Mackenzie Wall. Mackenzie's one of my former students. In fact, she was a homecoming queen. What a sweet girl. Mackenzie's on the left, and Abby's on the right. And so Mackenzie sent, this is Abby and her 28-inch fishy made my day, okay? So I asked Mackenzie, I said, Mackenzie, tell me the story, what happened? So I said, what's the story? I'll put it on Panhandle Outdoors. So Mackenzie said, we were on our third spot of the day and had only caught one snapper, but we're getting lots of bites when Abby's reel bent super fast. We thought she was caught on the bottom, and she reeled for a little bit and realized it was a fish and not the bottom. She reeled for a little bit, and then my dad did the last bit. Best catch of the day. Here's a picture of she and Mackenzie's dad. Now that's great. Good job. First fish. Now here's a whole picture of it right here. That's a framer right there, Mom and Dad. You need to put that one in there. Okay, here's an idea now. Flounder season coming up for gig, and this is for when you put it on your boat. You put your, okay, you got your flounder on the gig, and a lot of times they're hard to get off. So you put the flounder down and just pull up on it and pull the gig out. And put the flounder there in that notch and pull up on it and get, you see how it releases. Here's a side view right here. So I'm going to put something like that together. I like that idea. I like the metal part because you want something strong there so the flounder won't be knocking it loose and everything. One of our favorite fishermen, Mr. Braden Harris, a young man, Michael Harris's son. My love for fishing is deep, which means I will go wet a line for hours in the middle of the hot summer dog days. It pays off. All for those who are scared to throw a topwater in the middle of the day. You're overthinking. I catch big fish on topwater, fresh or salt, every summer. And, all right, so you see what he caught? Good job, Braden. Real proud of you. Braden has inherited that love for fishing from Michael. Jeremy Brooks now working on the fishing off the old Captain Law with John Law. Okay, look at that old yellowtail. You don't catch those very often. That is a fine catch right there. That is some of the finest eating you will have. Good job, Jeremy Brooks. A familiar picture this time of year. But here's the deal on this. Look at the 4 bear cubs. You usually only see 2, sometimes 3. These are 4 here in the Panhandle. That's a good picture there. Tim Hutto sent that in the Florida Panhandle Hunters. You want to be aware. Watch these country roads now. This is a good story. John Labenthal, this is his dad. His dad is almost 80 years old, up from Athens, Alabama, came down to visit with his son, and they're all from Athens, and John lives here. And John's a doctor of psychiatry. His office over there by Half-Hitch Tackle on Thomas Drive. But John loves to fish, and what's great, he still gets to fish with his dad. Okay, now this is 2 different days of red snapper fishing. Okay, and then also, there's another. That's the first day of red snapper fishing, and then he caught some grouper. I got some grouper pictures somewhere. I don't have that, but anyway, that's all snapper there. But I've got some grouper pictures somewhere. But Mr. Labenthal, good fishing. They fish Friday and Saturday. Fish 2 days. All right, Jamie Smelko Ross, Winston Chester. The River Queens are back in business. Tracy and I had a great trip this morning. First time on the river this year because of neck surgery and life. Going again this afternoon. Wish us luck. But that is good job, Jamie. That's some fine fish. Look at that cooler right there. Is that not a classic? Is that not a classic scene out of the river down there around Howard's Creek? Beautiful picture, Jamie. And that's the size of the fish he was catching. Hope you're feeling better and glad you're back fishing. That's the best therapy of all. Scott Marshall with his son Brent. A lot of people fished this past weekend for red snapper, including myself and Andy and Guy. We're going to be showing you that picture soon. The last picture. Please remember, people, skilled labor is not cheap, and cheap labor is not skilled. So before you let anybody work on your boat, make sure they have credentials and are qualified, because you don't want something like this to happen. All right. Here's a picture. I knew I had a picture of the. Here's a picture of the grouper Mr. Labenthal caught. Now, that's not a bad weekend of fishing with those snapper and those grouper. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I was thinking of that set of pictures I showed with John Labenthal and his dad, and we talk a lot about, dads taking your kids fishing. A lot of times it's important the kids take your dad fishing, and especially at that age, Greg Rudnick is still able to take his dad, and John's doing that, so it's really cool. I'd give anything in the world if I could go fish with my dad. But so take advantage of those times and cherish those times. And it's not just a male or anything. Also, you ladies, taking your mom. My mom loved to fish. My granny loved to fish, and it was just a lot of fun doing those things. I have many fond memories of that. And we're talking about fishing and all. We're now, we're in the sort of winding down in July. We're sort of what I call the late summer fishing pattern, and the fishing pattern in late summer here in the Florida Panhandle. First of all, let's talk about fresh water. Of course, I'm going to start with the smallest places, the creeks and all. The places like Telosia Creek, Holmes Creek, and those places. Creek fishing is really good in the summertime. They're active, they're feeding, a lot of insects out there, a lot of worms in the water, all kind of food, and they're very active in the summer. So the late summer pattern on fresh water is going to be really good. On the bigger rivers like the Apalachicola, then down to the Florida River and Owl Creek and those places. You want to try to, like I said earlier, get up in those sloughs. First of all, it's cooler up in there, and a lot of food is in there for the fish and all. So do a lot of slough fishing and up at all the feeder creeks. And late July fly fishing is excellent along the Apalachicola River. And I hope I can get some chances to do some of that, but it's really good on the Choctawhatchee side over there and even Ocklawatomie. Fly fishing in the late summer afternoons is on a scale of 1 to 10 on availability of flies. It's about a 9, okay? So be aware of that. Only better time is right there in the spring when it's popping out. Now, near shore, let's talk about inshore right now. We'll go from freshwater to inshore. Inshore fishing is sort of a little, the trout becomes a little lethargic and it's sort of hard to find the trout. The one key word on inshore fishing this time of year is holes. Look for the holes, you know, the little deep holes, indentations. They're going to get down in that water and cool off. They're going to back off. In the middle of the day, they're going to back off and get in deeper water. Now, sure, you can catch some, you know, in the middle of the day, but you're going to have a better chance catching them early in the morning or late in the afternoon, but they're really going to be in the holes. Redfish, they're more active now. They're going to, you know, to me now, I don't have any scientific evidence on this, but I've always thought the redfish can sort of put up with the heat better than a trout can. The trout is sort of more sensitive to me to the water temperature, and that's just my thinking on it. So redfish are more up in the grass and all, and they're staying active. They're gonna hang around that dock looking for, you know, to ambush some fish. So you really want to do some dock fishing. Ideally, you want to fish early, fish up in the shallow water and all, and then ease back and start to do some dock fishing. And you know, that combination right there is a good combination. Now near shore, king mackerel. First thing pops up, king mackerel. They're catching some kings, starting to catch some really nice kings. Those king mackerel been feeding all summer, and they're getting big. We've got a big king mackerel tournament coming up at Sea Quarters the first weekend of August, and the last weekend of August we're going to be doing that king mackerel tournament over Mexico Beach. The reason they do it this time of year is because those fish have been feeding all summer long, and a lot of activity. So we're certainly looking forward to that. Also, the mahi-mahi bite has been really strong the last week or so. So keep that in mind. Now, what I call the glamour fish, that the boys like to fish on a small percentage. I don't talk about it a lot because only a small percentage of people fish for the tarpon and the sailfish and that. They're a lot of fun to catch and all, but we don't have, and we have a lot of them around here. We just don't have a lot of people fishing for them. And if you want to fish for them, they're not hard to catch. I promise you, it's not hard to catch a tarpon. I can tell you where to go to Crooked Island. Outside of Crooked Island, prime spot off the tip of the Cape is prime spot. Out between the other side of the pier, going toward Destin, those 3 spots right there. And you just sit and wait on them and cast for them. But anyway, that's all good, strong fishing, and it's really good late summer. So take an opportunity to go. Now, speaking of fishing, also you want to start looking for the birds, and I mention that all the time. The birds are there when they start circling up. They'll, you know, and see the water churning. That's bait fish, and wherever you see bait fish, you're going to see bigger fish. So I got this little 3-minute video of you just watching some fish. This is right after I was actually inside the house and looked out the window and I saw all this commotion going on out there. I knew exactly what it was. I ran to the garage, got my rod and reel, and ran out on dock and just had about 15 minutes of fun. So Jeff, let's roll this video. There. Now watch this. Look at there. Look at there. Just hit. Look at it. All right, you want to watch that? There's a school right there, folks. Okay. Now he's gonna come up. He don't know his hook. Ah! He let go of it. He didn't know his hook. Look at there. He's gonna come out and get it. He come out and get it. Look. Look at there. Okay. Watch this. He's trying to. Oh, you see that? Did you see that? Ooh, he's still coming to get it. There's another one. Look at there. Look, they don't know what. Look at him. Little skittle. Oh, he got it. There he goes. Oh, he let go. Oh, still. Oh, boy. There he goes. Oh, this is fun. We'll do this again. I'm just going to flip it out there. Right out there. That's not far. There's a whole school of ladyfish. Look at that. I'm just going to sit there. Let it sit there. All right, it's got to move. I don't know what it is. Look at it. Just here's some water. All right, I'll back out there. He got it, he got it. I'm going to spit it back out. He's barely hooked. I'm going to let him go. All right, take it under. Oh, thank you. Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. I just want to show you that because when you see birds, like we saw the birds and all, you know, some kind of activity. Hawk Masalina, out of my book, one of the early settlers here, an early fisherman, he always went by what those birds were doing. That's why he got the nickname Hawk Masalina. Now let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Wart Outriggers, 4:47 to 6:47. Still some time in it this morning if you want to go out. And then tonight, 5:13 to 7:13. I wanted to show you another thing, a big variable now is the water temperature. And I'll tell you how, you know, when I say it's 88 degrees, I just want to explain to you, you know, when it makes such an impression on me. I want to look at this chart here. These are our water temperatures since 1984. So I want to zoom in. Now at the bottom you see July and August. So that's July and August right here in the center, okay? Right here in the center. I'm going to go and point it out. But what you see, these are the extremes on this end. This chart here is extremes on the high end, extremes on the low end, that's the average, okay? But what I wanted to show you, see where that goes up like that right here? Okay, this is in July. That's what we've just gone through, and okay, really 88, really high right there. Because see, this line is 86. So you see when I'm talking about 88, and then also in August, it's going to sort of cool down to about 86, then pop back up here in late August. And that's really when a lot of activity is going on here and here. So, I mean, you go fishing when you can. I just wanted to show you, I just want to show that chart to you, and because it's just so important that you understand all these pictures and all. I want to show you these pictures of charts and all, the significance of it. One picture I did leave off, I want to show that here's John Labenthal here with fishing with his dad. Now, I don't know if he caught that grouper or his dad caught the grouper, whoever did now. That is a nice fish, and congratulations to John again on taking your dad fishing. We were out Saturday, and we were 25. I was Andy Weeks and his best friend, guy down coming out of Moultrie now, and comes down every weekend and fish with Andy, and they invite me on, and I go whenever I can. I go with those guys because they're good fishermen, they're good guys, and a lot of fun to fish with. We were out 25, maybe 30 miles Saturday after lunch, and we'd already caught a limit of snapper, which is not saying much because you can do that pretty quick, but there was some fine snapper, having a great time moving around catching some other things, and we got this warning. Okay, we got this warning right here. I want to show you this. We got a special marine warning. This is just an example right here, the special marine warning. And you don't get these a whole lot in the summertime, but anyway, that's just an example. When you get it though, special marine warning, and it starts coming on out of Tallahassee, a warning issued by the U.S. National Weather Service, and that voice coming on there just really strong, and you sort of scares you a little bit. We hightailed it, headed back in to Indian Pass. We put in Indian Pass, and by the way, that's the most people I've ever seen this past Saturday at Indian Pass. They were lined up. It looked like a scene out of the Jaws movie where people are going out. and I fished there since the late 60s, early 70s. I've never seen that many people there. But they were great, having a great time, and everybody was getting along good and all, just being patient, waiting in line. But man, Indian Pass boat landing is not a secret. It don't cost anything to launch there. Okay, so anyway, we start hightailing back in, and we finally get it back within 10 or 12 miles, and we check the radar. There's a huge thunderstorm. And our marine warning said severe lightning, thunderstorms, and winds up to 40 knots. Now that's pretty strong right there. And that can happen in these summer thunderstorms. And we all three knew, we got experience, we all three knew we needed to get back to land. We were in a 25-foot Parker, which is a fine boat, but safety, our safety preceded all catching them more fish and all. So we did hightail it back in, and we beat it back in. Actually, that storm, it didn't quite make it out into the Gulf, but we did get that warning, and I just want to share that with you. When you hear that voice on there from the National Weather Service about something severe, be aware of that. I don't have time to get into it about being careful. Rip currents and all, they're strong. Now, I was looking at the speed of the rip currents. I did not know this. I was reading about it last night. The speed of a rip current is faster than the Olympic champion swimmer. Whoever wins the Olympic championship in the freestyle, the speed is faster, that current going out is faster than them swimming like that. So I'm going to talk more about rip currents and all. We've talked about it on a regular basis on the show. I'm going to keep bringing it up just like I do on life jackets and all, because we just need to be aware of it, and those currents are strong. I'm going to have to wrap it up. I don't have time to get in rip currents. I'll try to do it tomorrow. But tomorrow now, Seacoast Marina, we're going to be talking. We've got some guests coming over all the way from Carabel, talking about the big tournaments and all coming up. So I want to wrap it up for today. Thank you all so much for watching the show. We always appreciate the viewership. Do something good today for your fellow man. Enjoy the great outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.